We are now inside of 2 weeks away from the start of the NFL draft. Good exercise here by the folks over at The Athletic, Jurko. They did evaluating the top NFL draft quarterback prospects with one advanced stat to love and one that will scare teams. So you want me to read you Caleb's? Because we know what's happening.
Sure,
Bears
absolutely.
are going to be calling Caleb Williams' name.
That's right. 13 days from now.
13 days from now, Jurko. Here's the advanced stat to like, okay? Plenty to like, but for me, it's his entire sophomore season. Maybe that's cheating. I don't care. Williams won the Heisman Trophy during his sophomore campaign and was predictably excellent across the analytic board. He produced a better EPA per dropback than C.J. Stroud. He was better by the same metric outside of the pocket than Bryce Young, and he had better efficiency on design rushes than Anthony Richardson. If he were eligible to enter after his sophomore season, Williams would have very likely been QB1 a year ago. Was this past year a regression or him trying to make up for USC's lack of defense? Only time will tell, but I'm willing to bet the traits from his sophomore campaign are still there.
So I like that.
I like that too.
Yeah, I like that.
Now you want to hear the one that scares you?
Well, he's achieved. I know this. He's achieved, so they give him credit for the fact that he's been able to achieve. He's done it.
And in the advanced analytics, and the EPA is a great metric for determining the value of players for quarterbacks, their contributions to offense.
Okay, give me the bad stuff.
All right, you want the bad one? And I bet you could kind of predict where this is going to go if you just had to think about it for a second. The advanced stat that the Athletic doesn't like, I don't think anybody likes it, nor should they. Williams' pressure to sack rate is concerning. This metric has caught a lot of steam in the past few years, and it's been found to be stable from college to the NFL regardless of competition. That's important to note, Jurko.
Yes.
They're finding that it is stable as the data sample grows. Pressure to sack rate measures how often a quarterback pressure turns into a sack. The benchmark for a quote-unquote good number seems to be around 17%, but it can vary. Williams had a 24.6% pressure to sack rate his final year at USC and a 20.5% career number. Williams is known for extending plays, so you can live with a slightly higher number, but he will certainly need to lower that number to find success, Jurko, in the NFL. I was doing a little
digging.
Not digging. I was just doing a little, I don't even know what you'd call it. I wouldn't even really call it an experiment. Just checking, sack rates and how they correlate maybe to, overall quarterback play and how it would look compared to quarterback rating. This is not the pressure to sack metric that the Athletic is referencing. I'm just giving you pure old-fashioned sack percentage here, okay?
Yes.
For quarterbacks.
Yes, I got you.
I looked at the last 3 years combined, 2021, 2022, 2023.
I got you.
Minimum of 500 pass attempts, okay? Some of these guys on this list obviously had enough pass attempts to qualify, even though they only played one season. I will tell you that. But it's mostly the culmination of players that played multiple seasons across 2001, the last 3 seasons, 2001, 2002, 2021, 2022, 2023. Who do you think number one in the NFL is in terms of having the lowest sack percentage the last 3 seasons? He didn't play last year. It was the 2 years before that and everything else he's done in his marvelous career that would lead you to a pretty obvious answer because he knew how to get rid of the ball and he knew how to get rid of it quick.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, numero uno, and nobody's even close, Jurko.
Right.
He's below 3%. The next closest guy is a little over 4%. Tom Brady's sack percentage over his final, for him, this is a 3-year data sample, but for Tom, because he didn't play last year, this is a 2-year data sample, 2.94%. Number 2 on the list, you could probably figure out, Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
4.08. I'll give you the top 11 here real quick. Brady, Mahomes, Allen, Jordan Love. Here's a guy who had enough pass attempts to qualify, only played 1 season now. Tua, Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott, Derek Carr, and Aaron Rodgers. Did not play last year because of the injury. So for him, it's a smaller data sample too. Those are your top 11. And I was looking to see how that might correlate with just flat out. And I don't know that it does. Again, I'm not, this is just something I was doing on the fly.
Is there a direct relationship is what you're asking?
So Brady had the lowest sack percentage. His quarterback rating over that exact same data set was 10th best in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes, 6th best. Others in the top 11. Let's take Aaron Rodgers, for example. 3rd best quarterback rating over that sample. Dak Prescott, second best. How about Dak? Dak's got the second best quarterback rating. Well, maybe the stat is a little flawed because I don't think any of us would say Dak's the second best quarterback or has been. He's very good, but Dak's got the second best quarterback rating over the last 3 years.
Yeah, that team craps the bed in the playoffs.
I think you're right. Tua, 5th. Goff, 9th. Mahomes, 6th. I think I mentioned that. Justin Herbert, 13th. So there's some reasonable correlation. And normally the guys who are getting rid of the football and not taking sacks are going to be better. Their offenses are going to be better. Nothing can, we know it derails a drive.
Exactly. Negative yardage situations.
Penalties and sacks here. Other than, turnovers, obviously.
Right,
I'm talking about, like,
what stops drives?
What stops, like, what are the drive killers other than obviously turning the football over? The drive killers are what Jurko just said. Putting yourself behind the sticks with sacks and penalties. That's it. And so the offenses are going to tend to perform better. The players are going to tend to perform better. Now, do you want the opposite end of that spectrum? You want to know who some of the worst players are in terms of sack percentage?
Yes.
Who do you think has the worst or the highest sack percentage over the last 3 seasons in the NFL at 12.35%? I think you know it.
Justin Fields.
Yes. Sadly, it's Justin Fields. 12.35%. Second worst. Again, he played only one of these seasons, but he had enough to qualify. I just did 500. I did about roughly like a third of what, roughly
Burrow.
a third. No, Bryce Young. Bryce Young last year, 10.53%.
Well, I know Joe Burrow got crunched a lot, especially like his second year in the league.
Burrow's 12th on this list, 7.22%. So you're right. So Fields is the worst. Bryce Young is the second worst. Zach Wilson, the third worst.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that's bad.
You said it.
Yeah.
We know who the bad quarterbacks are, unfortunately.
Right.
And I think Justin's, I don't know, the jury's out on Bryce Young. I think Justin Fields is twice as good every day of the week as I think Zach Wilson's an abomination.
Terrible.
Quite frankly. That he was the second overall pick because he was impressive at BYU's pro day is laughable. Like, there's something seriously wrong with your system if you're landing on Zach Wilson because of the way he threw in shorts and a tank top at BYU's pro day. Like, there's just something so unbelievably wrong with your system and your process. It's that whole thing's an abomination. Zach Wilson cannot play quarterback in this league. I think Justin's better than him.
Only because he can run.
Even as a passer, I think he's better.
I don't know. God. You've dissected all of Justin Fields passing because he's been here and you see him every single week. All you see of Zach Wilson is the lowlights. Nobody ever shows you any highlights, anything he does well. Nobody shows you if he drops back and he hits a guy on a dime. You've seen every Justin Fields throw. So I don't know if you could say that just based upon statistics.
Well, I haven't seen as many. That's true.
But you know what we see.
When they show the Jets,
when they show the Jets, you know what we see. You don't watch the Jets the way you watch the Bears.
That's fair. Right. Obviously, we see every snap our Bears take. That's true. But, those are the quarterbacks that Sam Howell's next on the list. Ryan Tannehill, Russell Wilson, Daniel Jones. It's guys that have struggled, right, Jurk? I mean, so that there is a pretty strong correlation there, obviously. You can read it at The Athletic, by the way. They've got a breakdown of a bunch of them.
They've broken it down.
All the quarterbacks. They did a whole evaluating the top NFL quarterbacks and, like with those stats. And I guess Aaron Schatz just a Bleck and Abdallah regular, Aaron Schatz, the old Football Outsiders. He's taking his DVOA stuff to a different site, more of like a fantasy site. But Aaron's data stuff is really good. I like when he goes on with the guys. Because he just has, it's a lot of nerdy stuff, but he's just got real good analytical breakdown.
Right.
He was doing something too, where what he was evaluating, like just based on some of his projections, Adam, like guys that, that are projecting well and guys that are going to project as busts.
Yeah. So he came up with some long, crazy stat name that I'm not going to try to explain. But this is their Q-based 2.0 projections for the 2024 class. And it basically gives a percentage, a likelihood of bust, adequate starter, upper tier, or elite. And Caleb Williams has the lowest bust potential, and he has the highest elite potential.
And this is based off of data that he's running. This isn't like Aaron looking at tape saying it, right?
Yeah.
He's doing this based off of data.
Yes, it's
That the least bust potential is Caleb Williams.
yeah, it's total defense adjusted yards above replacement per attempt is, and that 0 is replacement level. So it's kind of like a war, like
Okay.
what they're going to do. And so his bust potential is 28.9%, which some people would think is high, but Drake May's bust potential is 49.2%. Jaden Daniels' bust potential is 37.7%. JJ McCarthy is 45.9. Bo Nix 54.1 and Penix is 68.2 bust potential.
Wow, so that's right. So the Caleb, according to just the data and the numbers he's using, is he got the lowest bust potential. That's good.
The elite percentage is pretty. The difference is pretty staggering too. The elite potential for Caleb is 21%.
Okay.
For Drake May, 9%.
Ooh.
For Jaden Daniels,
Twice as much.
14%. For JJ, 10%. For Nix, 7%. And for Penix Jr., 3.5%.
It sounds like the data would back up what a lot of experts think now, that it's Caleb and Jaden Daniels too, not Drake May too, right? If I'm hearing all that correctly?
Yeah.
Sounds like it. By the way, the flip side of that exercise we were just talking about, correlating the sack percentage, Jerk, with the quarterback ratings. You know, like you looked at that top group, and the guys that avoid sacks tend to have pretty high and good and somewhere around the top 10. And then the bottom of that list, you know, we told you who the guys that got sacked the most, the Justins, the Sam Howells, the Bryce Youngs, the Zach Wilsons. The worst quarterback rating over in that sample, Zach Wilson, Bryce Young, Sam Darnold, Kenny Pickett, Sam Howell, Justin Fields. So there is a pretty good correlation.
It's sack rate, but I also want to see hold on to the ball rate.
How do you want me to do that? Like, do you want me to?
I just want to. I want you to take the list of the quarterbacks that release when they release the football.
Okay, so like
1 through 32 or 1 through whatever, and
Okay.
see if there's a correlation.
Okay, I see what
You
you're
know,
saying.
just see where they're at in correlation to that other list, because does getting rid of the football quickly, obviously,
Yeah.
it would seem there's a direct
Yeah.
relationship with that. So the guys on the bottom probably held on to the ball too damn long.
Yes, I think you're exactly
So
right.
that's what I'd want to see. How much does that match up? Is it like within 3 positions all the way down?
Yeah.
Or is there a guy is terrible at it, the sack rate, who still got rid of the football
Okay,
quickly?
I see what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
let's just see if there's anybody like that. We could
Is
try
there
to
a
filter
blur?
that
Is
out.
there something crazy out
Yeah.
there?